there's a room full of crisis actors ready to act out the next false flag, you see. And, there's people lined up as actors, lined up as corpses. And I can just imagine the producer saying, corpse number 3, stop having a laugh and joke with corpse number 2. Now get back, you're professional actors, that type of thing. And there's fake blood everywhere. And the press are allowed in, you see, and they go along some people that are supposed to have been injured, but again, it's all acted. And there's a bloke there, sort of laying on it with bandages sort of round his backside, you see, and a woman reporter goes up to him and says, excuse me, what's happened to you? And he said, a bit of shrapnel has hit my, and she said, rectum? He said, he just about missed them.
And with it. I'm going to spoil this one for you, mate. My mate of 20 years used to tell me that every single day. Oh, we're doing that again. There we go. Hello.
Where do you get them from?
Tonight we've got manifesting as, hang on, I can't see the full bit, as a Yorkshire bee, and we got not. Oh, it's a bit boring. You just got your rename. Look,
I've got a subtitle there.
Oh, Dream Manifest Operator.
That's the one.
So there we go. And also, you're the propaganda minister of Fockham Hall.
That's true. You will believe what I tell you, and you will be happy.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
And also, and thanks to Patrick, I got me plug-in earphones. That's why I'm shouting.
When he laughs to fly out.
That's right. And I spent a lot of money on these earphones in the pound shop for £2. Who says I'm tight-fisted, eh? And, well, I had to sleep this night after that. Now, this week we've got some healing messages to go out to Christy. And where's me doodle here? Where's me funny music? No, oh, here it is. It's down here, isn't it? I wonder where we're funny. So Christine is a little bit in the wars at the moment. So Christine, up in Bonnie, Scotland, let's have some healing thoughts.
Get well soon, Christine.
Get well soon.
I'd probably fall asleep 5 minutes into that.
Yeah, I think that's the idea. Hey, you send it to me.
We could all do
now. Now, Nathan told us a joke before. Just
Are we really going to do this?
And what we could do, we could have a kind of bet. Will he do it?
Will he dare?
Will he dare? Crack that gag? And shall we call it the chicken joke?
Yeah, we'll call it the chicken joke. I don't know whether I can pull a fucking straight face doing it though.
It's a classic. It really is. And hang on, Stig's in chat. He's from New Zealand.
Morning.
So I try to do a good aim. No, it's a bit Australian, isn't it?
Yeah, don't even attempt it.
That's right. So who have we got in chat before we start? No wonder I couldn't hear it because my earphone keeps falling out. Oh, by the way, thanks for Patrick for these ear grubbits. But I think my ear hole's a bit funny because. Right. Yes, when I laugh, was it? Now, first in chat is Paul. Good evening, all. So it's Paul. Don't mention anything about buses. Whatever you do, nothing about buses. All right.
It's no buses, dude.
That's right.
Yeah.
I saw a 251 the other day. You know what I mean?
It was a 251E.
Now, mine was just a 251.
Well, you do see them occasionally as they go past late, you know. So.
Late, they don't bleed and run. supposed to be
She's
every
doing this
20
as well.
minutes. It's more one every hour and 20 minutes. I can actually walk
Supposed to be quite frequent here, but they never are. So it's supposed to be every 10 minutes, literally. So, but yeah, you'll be lucky if you get it every half hour.
Yeah.
Well, I walk up to the farm shop, which is quite a long. It's a fair walk. It's about 15 minutes. I do not see one bus going up there, and I walk back from the farm shop, and I don't see any buses walking back. Right. Who else we got in? Who we got in chat? We've got a new one. Sorry, I'm just fiddling with my ear holes. That's it. That's better. We've got Kitty Cat Rat 1000. Hello, Kitty Cat Rat 1000. Are you who I think you are, or are you who I think you're not? Reveal yourself.
Well,
Expose yourself.
Yes, how are you going to know?
Shall we out you? Expose yourself, Kitty Cat Rat 1000. Barefoot Foreigner says, I'm driving home from wild swimming. Well, what made you so angry with your swimming? I mean, did somebody throw you or something? I mean, was you bloody livid, or was you just a bit wild? With the kids and dogs. So we'll be listening in, but not commenting.
Well,
Can someone troll Nathan for me in my absence? Thank you kindly. Yes, certainly. We could get Kitty Cat Rat to do it. Kitty Cat Rat, can you troll Nathan, please? Thank you.
We'll find somebody.
Right, that's it. We got.
I wouldn't feel at home if I didn't have somebody trolling me. I mean, it's an essential part of the show at this point.
It is, yeah.
Somebody needs to step in a bit.
We got Chris, who first prize will be guess his occupation. So we've got Chris the gardener, and then we got. So he's sitting there thinking, "Why did he bleep and shut up?" He keeps telling that one until Chris saying that. Now, who else we got here? I thought I was a stethoscope.
I thought it was a stethoscope. Your earphones.
Oh yeah, yes. Breathe deeply, please. That's it.
Big breath.
What it is? My other headphones, here they are. See, they hit on my lobes, and after 2 hours, it's it's a bit painful. Mark Anthony, evening all. Looking forward to the show.
Hello,
Sue Sparkle. Good evening all. I bought your book, Nathan. It's arrived. I'm looking forward to a great read. What book could that be?
Thank you very much. Nice.
I just don't know what book that could be.
What could have given her the idea?
I have the foggiest idea what it is. But we've got an announcement coming up in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, Sue's not going to like it though.
So,
sorry, Sue, in advance.
Yes, that Sue's not going to.
Well, thank you for buying the book. It's appreciated. Very much so.
You checked in the post.
As compensation, Sue can have, free of charge, a raspberry to a politician or celebrity of her choice. So, how's that? All right. So that's compensation.
Yeah. So I can't think of anybody today.
Oh no!
Right.
Oh no!
Here come the. Just get booked. It says, "Here come the double deckers." Chris can be brains.
Chris can be brains.
Right. Oh no. Right. So there we go. So we'll be waiting, and also Deb can also, because the ladies can also, and also Paul. So 3 people can have a choice of what politician they can actually. Oh, hang on. We've got one. Here it comes.
Got Sue got one, yeah.
Yeah. Hello, Stephen True Seeker. Sue is Lenny Henry, please. I would agree with that. Yes, he gets on my nerves. Give him a big one. Here he goes. That's it.
There you go. That was a squeaky one.
That's it. Lenny Henry, and I'll give him a double one. That's an American one as well. He's about as funny as watching Woodhall. That's right. Right, now on with the show. Manifesting. Now, the internet is full of these. I've got millions of dollars and I got this from manifesting it, just thinking that I'm a millionaire. I personally think a lot of them are water mitties. I really do. Because if it was that easy to manifest wealth, we'd all be multi-millionaires, wouldn't we? We'd be sitting there going, but funny enough, in chat on BitChute, I learned quite a lot. John comments on my BitChute channel, which you can't get onto now because BitChute have pulled the plug in the UK, and you can only get onto it via VPN. Now, if you use Urban VPN, which is free of charge, you can get onto my BitChute channel. But if you tap into it now, BitChute, it won't come up. And the reason BitChute have pulled the plug on the UK, even though they're based in Swindon, I believe, in Wiltshire, is because of the thought crime. What do you call it?
Online safety
laws. Yeah. So I can't blame them. I feel sorry for the poor sods. They pulled the plug. And also the French government have pulled the plug on Rumble. So if you're in France, you can't see Rumble.
It's mad.
So if anyone's in any doubt as to whether we're in a communist tyrannical system, that should confirm it to you. Because they wouldn't censor us if they didn't feel the need to. There you go. Spot on.
Oh, by the way, and Paul says, make sure there's no EMFs running up your ears, Eric. I tried using headset on a mobile phone whilst charging the phone. And the radiation travelled up my headset.
No. What did it do to you?
Got two heads now.
That's right. Now, Paul, as he's the first one on, he said, Gordon Brown, please. The one yes. That's it. Yeah, Gordon Brown, the man that sold all our gold to the Rothschilds because they told him to.
You're going to go into a rap there.
Yeah. Right. So, manifestation. And later we're going to hear Deb's choice, who we're going to have a raspberry for, and also the fantastic offer that Nathan is going to put forward.
Yes.
And will he tell the smutty chicken gag? And it's better than a constipated vicar. It seriously, it is better than or you can use polite words. No, it's not doing that. But anyway,
not for that. There's no polite way of doing that.
We could chance it, but I was going to say manifestation. I was talking to Dawn Lester last night on my Rumble channel, and we're talking about a subject that we could not talk about on YouTube. And my belief is that we're like radios. We receive and send signals, and it's on our subconscious. So, for example, and I'll be very careful what I say here because we are on YouTube. If you walk into a room where somebody has a cold, the way you will get that cold, and this is in my view, I've got no qualifications in this, but it could be wrong, is that I believe that if your body is a bit down and it thinks, right, I need to detoxify, it is your subconscious is communicating with that other person, and your body will kick into having a cold. So you haven't necessarily caught anything from that person. It's just your body communicating with another person without you realizing it. That's a theory I've got. It could be crap, I don't know, but this is my theory. And because the reason I got this theory is I remember we used to have sessions. If we had a very difficult design to do, and we really couldn't, we'd have a sort of like a brain busting session, better one, a better word, where we'd be sitting around, sort of slurping a coffee down and thinking, what we're going to do. And suddenly you would hit upon an idea, and 2 or 3 other people in that room, before it comes out your mouth, they've got it at the same time. How did that happen? How did that happen? That they have got that idea. For example, powered flight, 1903, the Wright brothers. But people achieved it around the world near enough within about a week or 2 at the same time. Another weird thing.
It's almost like 100th Monkey, but from a psychic field. You know, I don't claim to know how it works. I've read a lot of books on the occult that'll tell you that we're psychically connected. Maybe they've been trying to stop that from being a thing in the last couple of decades, but you know, I certainly don't disregard it. It's an interesting one.
Well,
all various sorts of ways that they're dumbing that down.
Yeah.
But no, what I was going to say, I forgot myself. I was talking about John in Siam. He comments on my channel, and he was talking about manifesting and that. You know, and could it be a selfish thing, a me thing, or a new age psyop? And it got me thinking, because when you look at these characters on YouTube, I'm not saying they're all the same, and I'm not being rude to anybody. So I want, you know, I want a Mercedes Benz, and I want this, and I dreamt that I had a Mercedes Benz, and I lived as if I had one, and sure enough, some arsehole drove into my house with a Mercedes Benz.
Mercedes, have it. P.S. The universe said, "Can you shut the fuck up now?"
But well, that's it. But I had a strange manifestation thing, and I'm, you know, it's not just for show. It's 100% this to happen. Somebody I used to know, and I haven't seen that person since I saw John Hamer talk about this time last year. I haven't had any contact with that person for that year. And I was thinking of him yesterday. Woke up this morning, put my emails on, got an email from him. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Isn't that very strange?
Before, though, when you think of somebody you haven't thought of for ages, and you either get a message or you get a phone call.
Yeah, I've experienced that myself again, and it's just random. So sometimes I can be sat in a shop or a cafe or something, and you know, just it'll pop into my head, and then you know, an hour down the line, you see that person's like, that's a bit odd, you know, that's strange, but there you go.
I've had that loads of times, you know. But I like what That's Life, but not as we know it. So it's called Brand, the man with a face that was stuck under the couch for a week.
We'll not stick it in the fridge and preserve it for, you know, a meal in the apocalypse or something. I don't know. It's horrible, isn't it? I'm sorry, I'm going to shut up.
But most politicians have got a face like a sack of spanners. Yeah. I mean, look at our dear and charming queer stammer. He's got a face that looks like a bag of spanners, doesn't he?
Pudgy, I think the word is pudgy face.
Yes, I mean, we're not allowed to criticise the government, so I'm just going to say he's got a lovely face.
Yeah.
For a shade.
But this is something to say about chat. Now, it was this idea. Does people in the chat, do they believe that manifestation is real or not? Because, or is it just a coincidence? We don't know. I think it works by this sort of subconscious radio waves. I really do believe that. I'm conscious. I'm positive that, because you think about it. You drive your car. You don't think about driving your car. You get in it and you're driving. It's your subconscious that's actually doing all the changing the gear and all that.
Yeah, well, the bloody subconscious can put some fuel in it then.
Have you ever driven somewhere and thought, how the bloody hell did I get here? You don't remember the journey. I'll tell you the worst one. I went for a walk once, came back and couldn't remember the journey, and I actually crossed 2 main roads, so I must have been conscious.
That's quite worrying.
Actually, sorry to interrupt there, right? So there is another way of looking at this, which is depending on the way you look at it, and it's I'm not saying I agree with it or I believe in it or anything like that. It's purely theoretical, but there's another way of looking at it as some fatalism, i.e., you only have the illusion of free will, and we're, you know, I mean, let's go with Matrix theory, or you know, everything's planned out. You've come into this reality, and you're only given the illusion of free will so that you participate within it, right? but everything's scripted, and so maybe part of that manifestation. I'm not saying, hey, this is my theory or anything. It's something I was discussing the other day with a friend of mine, and maybe when we think we're manifesting something, or we suddenly pick up on something psychically or whatever, that's just kind of the matrix reality slipping and showing us that, oh, that's coming further down the line. And then, and then you suddenly get it in your subconscious. Oh, well, that's what I want. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like a bit of a taster.
A little bit, yeah. Again, that's not. I don't have a problem with matrix theory. I won't go into that, but it's an interesting one because a lot of people won't like it because it's the idea that you are not in control of your own destiny. You are simply here to play a role, and
yeah,
that's it. And again, I think it's quite a dismal view, to be honest. But I don't like the idea of not having free will. But it's an interesting one.
But it's also another thing. I mean, I remember many years ago, I was walking along the road quite innocently, and I was walking next to a corrugated iron hoarding that had been put up next to me, and suddenly something whizzed just across the bridge of my nose, went bang, and made a dent in this hoarding, and it's a stone that had been thrown up by a car tire.
Oh.
Now, if I was a few split second earlier, that could have blinded me, or it could have gone into could have hit my nose or something, and it made a dent. And the speed that stone spun up, it was quite funny. And also, I had someone take a pot shot at me in my car many, many years ago. And this was when I was a teenager. And it was New Year's Eve. I was driving along and there was a bang. And I thought, what the hell's that? And I was passing a gypsy camp at the time.
Oh.
And next morning, when I got up, I looked, and there's a great big dent at the window pillar. You know, the window pillar as it comes down and inside. And my dad looked at it and he said, "That's a bullet that's hit that," because it was about that deep in. So it's probably some gypsies that were drunk and they had a gun and they just decided to take pot shots at cars. But if I'd have been a little bit later, split second, that could have gone straight through the glass.
Yeah, it could.
Oh.
But yes.
Here's one for you. Just slightly off topic there. I took my daughter for a walk a couple of days ago to the local retail park, and there's a giant road billboard out the side of it, and she went, "Daddy, are they bullet holes in there?" And I went, "Don't be daft." And I looked at it, I went, "Bloody hell, they are." Somebody literally looks as if they've hammered this sign with bullet holes. It's crazy. I'm not even joking as well. It's mad.
They're not part of the sign then. They're not like.
No. It's just a big road sign. And you look at it, it's like, whoa, that's bullet holes all over it. So it's a bit crazy.
It's surprising. Stones can be thrown up by cars, and they're like bullet holes. They can go at terrific speed. This is why I hate it when they resurface the road and they leave all the chippings there, because when you walking along, it's got a bang, crash, wallop, and you're getting chippings thrown up everywhere. It's quite, disturbing. But I like what Paul said here. He said, Chris Whitty was the worst of them all. Had a face like a deflated balloon. Definitely skeletons in the closet, that one. And I like what That's Life, but not as we know it said. Whitty looked like he survived Hiroshima. Badly. But when he looks, well, he sat there, didn't he? He didn't blink for 2 minutes. I mean, you can't hold it more than. He's not
maybe
natural. He's not
robot. You know, it could be one of these cyborgs. You know, cyborg thing.
Could be.
Well, they creep me
I've
out.
been stoned before.
Not in the way where
I bet you have.
I bet. What's this? Had to pull over with appalled incredulity at the idea of matrix theory. What idiot came up with that?
Who indeed?
Ooh.
I'm going to say what kind of person hasn't seen the Matrix films, Holly? That you need to watch. There you go. I'll just leave it at that. There you go. You've got to watch it before you can criticise.
But I think that really, I wrote a little note today. I said, we are like magnets. If we get it wrong, we repel what we want. If we get it right, we attract what we want. It is a case of changing our energy and stroke frequency. We have to work on ourselves first, and that only comes from listening to our inner selves and wisdom. I wrote that today.
You wrote that?
I wrote that whilst I had my cup of tea, yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And I don't know, I mean, I don't know where that came from, because a lot of songwriters say they've written a song and they found out somebody wrote the song they've never heard of 100 years prior and things like that. So, you know, and I do believe we are like magnets. We can attract and we can repel. And if you're in with the wrong company, you will attract the wrong company. If you're in with the right company, you will attract the right company.
That's cool.
Potentially, again, it's one of those. If anyone's familiar with the Mark Devlin coffee shop analysis, I've got it. It's gone out the dark in my room. I can read it a bit later if anyone's a bit curious about it. But to me, he sums it up quite well. So how are you supposed to? I mean, it's not like we come with a manual for this stuff, right? So okay, let's assume that the whole manifestation thing is correct in terms of the New Age perception of it. Then how the hell are we supposed to determine which is the right way from the wrong way? You know, I mean, people say trial and error, but that doesn't seem too fair to me. That does, you know, it's a bit.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, so.
But I know somebody that did manifesting, and I've got to be careful here because I haven't had permission to use what this person told me, and it manifested what he wanted. He didn't like the work that he did, and he didn't want to go back to it after the lockdown. And what manifested was an illness that prevented him going back to it. So what he wished for went wrong. So he said to me, and it was very profound what he said, be careful what you wish for. So that's quite interesting. You'll be very specific.
I used to work with somebody that was a Buddhist, and he told a similar story about somebody that sat and focused on this particular thing they wanted. I can't remember. It was something to do with an inheritance, and it all worked out really badly. Yes. But he put it down to the fact that he didn't focus enough time and energy on it in the right way and all this sort of thing. But that's like a case of manifestation, isn't it?
Well, I just don't think he was very enlightened. I mean, it's sorry, I couldn't resist. Enlightened. Sorry.
Yeah, but I think the big problem is these people that are saying, you know, you can get thousands of pounds. All you have to do is manifest it and all this. And there's a fella, I can't remember his name now. He's a Canadian bloke. He's dead now. The manifestation couldn't have worked very well for him because he's dead now. Sorry, but really, it's what works for you. But also, it can be a selfish thing. But my attitude is to analyze yourself, sit back, because if you chase something like money, it runs away from you. So the best possible way would be to let something be attracted to you. Let it come to you. It's like when I see animals, wild animals, if there's a dog or a cat, I will not approach that dog or cat. I'll let the dog or cat come to me. And it's got free choice whether it comes to me or not. And I think that's the way I sort of view it. Try and work on yourself to say, well, okay, I want to attract this, whatever it is you want to attract. And, you know, and also there's some people that think that the world is against them. They never seem to get anywhere, those people. Like, for instance, my sister. Very negative.
I'll tell you what. Let me just stick some lights on in here, and then I've got I've got a bit of a strange example for you.
Okay.
To balance out. Right. So in my book, I made an argument that I think it's possible to manifest things, but I think that you need to be directly involved in actually trying to do that. You need to action that specifically, right? You need to go out and focus your attention and your will and all of that on a specific thing, and depending on your previous circumstances or situation, that will affect your ability to do that, right? So that's that's my stance in my book, and I pretty much still stick with that, with a few exceptions. I'm going to give you an example of one of those exceptions that I saw. I witnessed the whole thing myself last year. So I'll go into that. Let me stick some lights on in here, and then we'll go into that if you like,
Okay.
and then
Right, so
see if we can balance it out. Okay.
All right, so I'll go to chat whilst you're doing that.
No problem.
Now, I manifested a flat to live in using visualization. Did it work, Stephen? Truth Seeker, did it work? And where do you live? Says Paul. In a mansion. In a mansion. Stephen said yes, but they might be targeted individuals. Who is a targeted individuals? I've lost that one. I lost the thread there.
Well, if somebody'd like to target me with a mansion, I'll take it.
Well,
hand it over.
No,
you can target me with an Audi R8 if you want.
Yeah. So, yeah, it works. I think that, again, it's how you do it. Because they say you can write it on a piece of paper. It might work for some people, not others. You can dream it through, might work for some. But let's face it, when you design something, you're manifesting something. A design office is a manifestation area.
Yeah.
Because it's actually coming from your imagination. I mean, if somebody says, well, can you design a spiral staircase or something that goes here and goes there? When they're explaining what they want, and I'm looking at the brief of what they want, I'll probably be looking as if I'm gazing out the window, but I'm not. I'm trying to imagine that in my mind. I'm trying to work it all out. And I think that is the thing, you know, when you work in design, you often see people sort of going, because they're trying to, either that or they're pissed, one of the two. They're trying to work something out.
It could be a mix of the two of them. So, the esoteric way of looking at this, right? So for anybody who's not familiar with the term hermeticism, I would always encourage them to go and look it up. It's one of the oldest occult sciences, and it is a science if you look at it. Some people say it's a philosophy. It doesn't matter at this point. The number one principle of hermeticism is all is mind, right? So as in before the universe was made manifest, whatever it all began as mind, as a field of consciousness, and that consciousness starts to build itself up and then compartmentalize itself and structure itself outwards like that.
Right.
So in terms of manifestation, then I would refer people back to that whole idea of the principle of mind, which is that all things are made manifest first through the mind, right? It begins with a thought. Everything begins with a thought. So if you look at it from that perspective, then everything that comes after that as a series of cause and effect, that's manifestation in action, right? That's reality unfolding. So I like looking at things from that perspective. So, you know, all things are made manifest first through the mind, then the speech, then your behaviors, and et cetera, et cetera.
Right,
so
yeah.
plus just to balance it out, I'm not against the idea of psychic ability. I think it's an inherent ability that we all have. I think nature's it's replete with it. I think it's everywhere. I just think that it's being shut down in humanity largely because obviously they don't want us to be that kind of powerful being, or whatever you would like to look at it as. They want us to be disempowered slaves, and they'll do everything to do that. Like somebody mentioned earlier, you know, things like fluoride and additives to the food supply, the water. So take your pick, the air, anything. You know, they're dumbing it down. They're removing our natural ability. You know. So
I totally agree.
I agree with you, but it's been scientifically proven that we have, because our gut is our second brain, and we do get gut feelings which help to, shall we say, for our survival.
Yeah.
For example, years ago when there were saber-toothed tigers around, you think, well, do I go down that path or that path? And you think, I better go down that path. And there might be a saber-toothed tiger down the other path that would have warned you. Things like that. You get these kind of gut feelings about things. And I think that gut feeling is very, very real because since, I used to battle with depression and panic attacks. And since I changed my diet last September, it's gone. Absolutely.
I can't regulate. I've got a fan on to keep it cool, but I can't hear shit. So I'm opening the windows. There we go.
No, as I said, and I don't call it a diet. I call it a lifestyle. It's a change of lifestyle. But of course, that might work for me, but it might work. We're all different, and it might not work for other people. Their diet, but as we covered this before, I think it was last week. If you have this keto diet, it could kill a diabetic. I didn't realise that it could. And certain people can't. So I'm not a doctor or anything like that. So
I won't be trying that.
I'll bring that again. Yeah, but really, do you think that what we eat can? You go down any high street and you see people shoving pastries in their gob and sweet cakes and. Now, our diet has changed phenomenally in the last, 30, 40 years. You look at films from the 50s and 60s. Fast food, the only fast food was fish and chips. There was no hamburgers or beef burgers or anything like that. And the fish was fresh, it had to be. And it was deep fried, which saves it from any bacterial infection or anything like that. Scampi chips was unheard of. I think it was just cotton chips or haddock chips, and that was it. That's all we had. And up north, all you had was haddock. You didn't get cod. I know that for a fact. So
that's why I like haddock and not cod.
I like haddock.
That's it. Yes. And cod's got worms in it, isn't it?
Yeah, it has.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Oh,
bit of extra
yum,
meat for a charge. Yes. But you look. But look at the additives.
Yeah.
What's that doing to people?
Right. I would say it's making us healthy and dumbing us down at the same time. I think I hate all of these. I'm not even going to call them fast food chains. Some of them are, some of them are less so. But all everything, there's homegrown businesses and things like that we had 50, 60 years ago. They've all been virtually replaced by these big chains, and I hate it. I hate the fact that everything's just copy and paste recipes that are thrown at us. It's boring. I want to see the old way. It's not going to come back now, I don't think. But I like proper food made with healthy ingredients that taste different to other places that I go.
Well, I don't like eating out, but sometimes any point in a store, I might have a little treat, and I might sort of go. I don't do ponds. I can't say ponds in restaurants.
Oh God, no.
I'm a Fred's Calf type sort of person.
Yeah.
But
you see, they've all gone into decline now.
Well, that's right, and it's all straight out the freezer into the microwave, and I don't like microwave food.
Yeah.
That's it, and you look at these. I won't mention any names because they've got better lawyers than we've got. But you look at these chain of pubs. They serve what I call plastic food. Piece of fish that's exactly the same on the plate as bloke over there. Chips all the same size. Everything is plastic. It is quite disturbing. What's that doing to people's second brain, their guts, their gut feelings, things like that? But
I don't know. It's so long ago since I was told now, but I was told that if your body wanted it, if you held a plate of food that you thought you wanted up to your stomach, like your solar plexus, your sternum or whatever, your stomach, then your body would have a reaction to it as to whether you wanted it or not. But I can't quite remember how that works now. But my friend used to do it, and it used to work for her. She'd think she wanted something. She actually didn't.
Well, a lot of it could be taste related. That you associate food now with the taste as opposed to natural diets. And so if you get again, you mentioned these chain pubs, and to me, it's just, I mean, it is just basically microwave food on an industrial scale, really. I mean, okay,
Out crap.
Yeah, and I'd rather pay the extra price, even now when everything's gone through the roof, to go to a pub that still does homemade food. I would much prefer
Where
that.
is it?
Yeah.
Do they exist? That's the trouble. Around where I live, there's quite a few pubs, but I don't know any that do homemade food. They might do, but I don't know of them. You think it's homemade, but it isn't. That's the thing. You know, the pies, it looks like it's been bought from the local supermarket. So you can tell where the aluminium's been on the bottom of it. And as I say, what's on your plate is exactly the same as what somebody else has got on their plate. There's no difference.
Regulation of chips at the same size and the same spoon of these.
It's all the same everywhere as well. It's all burgers. I mean, every time you go into one of these chain pubs, isn't it? It's half the menu is burgers, different burgers. Then you've got your grills, which I don't have a problem with steaks and stuff. I enjoy a massive mixed grill because I'm a greedy sod. But at least I'm assuming that's at least proper meat. God knows where it comes from. But then you get other stuff like these chicken in breads. I don't want that. I want mince and dumplings and Sunday dinners and roasts and stuff like that. That's what I want, but it's gone. You can barely find that now.
And also what they do with chickens now. I mean, chicken used to be very expensive, extremely expensive to buy.
Still is.
But if you buy the battery hen ones, the stuff that you get, the chicken nuggets and things like that, the hormones and Christ knows what they pumped into those chickens because they're in such tightly packed environments. They go down with every disease you could ever wish to think of. You're actually eating, in my view, you've got a plate full of hormones and bloody antibiotics and Christ knows what that's been pumped into the chicken. That's why I will always avoid chicken if I'm eating out because, I like to eat, organic chicken is extremely expensive.
Yeah.
I go to a farm where the chicken is, shall we say, free range. They can't say it's organic because the amount of bureaucracy and paperwork will be incredible, but it sort of is. And I trust them. I assure them that the chickens haven't been. They see them all running around as you're in there. So I'll have that one. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, I'll have
that one. No, but seriously,
I think it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right.
Paul's saying when I was vegan, it was the same offerings at every place: chickpea curry, plant-based burgers and chips, and that's about as much as you get. A nut loaf was a luxury. Yeah, it's the same sort of stuff.
What the heck is nut loaf? That sounds slightly concerning, and I think I'm going to skip that one.
Sounds like an effeminate version of meatloaf, doesn't it?
It's
meatloaf and his wife, nutloaf. But a little plug here. I tell you, if you like proper meat, if you're a meat eater, go to Bridget's farm, and it's up near Ware. Very, very good. It's in the middle of nowhere. Where? But it's in the middle of nowhere. You drive there, you park in a car park, you go into, it's like walking back 100 years. You go into an old-fashioned butcher's shop.
Oh, yeah.
It's quite incredible. And you don't see food being prepared. The bloke is a qualified trained butcher. So anyway, I hope he puts a check in the post,
Yeah.
It's a little plug.
Is that your sponsor for the day?
British Butchery, very good. Yes, my sponsor for the day is
Mark says if you went into the kitchens of some of these big chain restaurants and pubs, you'll see multiple microwave ovens ready to heat the mass-produced pre-cooked food that they buy in bulk. It's crap.
Agreed.
That is true. Wetherspoons does that.
Yeah.
Microwave.
Well, mention that.
There are other pubs where you can get that.
Yeah, lots of other pubs do it too.
But what's this thing about? I looked on their menu and it says free soft drink. Now, if I'm eating something, I'll have a tea or a coffee. I won't have a Coke. I don't like Coca-Cola. I won't touch the bloody stuff. I don't like fizzy drinks as I'm eating. So, is that the only choice you've got? fizzy
No,
orange
no.
or something?
No, you get free tea or coffee, but they're appealing to the kids there, aren't they, with the free soft drinks?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm gonna say that I think that's extremely sinister. Some knowingly doing it, and others not knowingly doing it through ignorance, which is potentially worse. But I think the whole idea that the soft drinks are being pushed in pubs now is because they're all full of sweeteners. There's, as I like to say, 0 calories, 0 goodness, 0 taste, and full of shite. Right? So they're all sweeteners, and you know, I won't touch them at all. So if they don't serve anything without sweeteners, I won't buy nothing. In fact, I've walked out for less. So it's you know, but to me, the reason that they're doing that is to get these 0 goodness soft drinks down, especially kids. You know.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes. Barefoot's Forager. Do I hint of sarcasm here? Are we off topic? Buses, anyone?
Impossible.
She's a bus. She's a bus spotter. That's what she is.
It's really not.
That's it. But yes. Well, we're manifesting food, aren't we? Which is my favourite topic. Food. I like eating.
Yes.
Maybe you're just hungry, Chris.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I remember many years ago, got the ring at the doorbell, and it was a baking hot July day. You know, really, really hot. And it's a bloke there in a chef's outfit. It was a bit grubby. So I said, so he said, do you like food? Stay there. What the bleeding hell's going on? So I stood there. He went over to this sort of van he's got, pulled out a tray, came over to me with this sort of synthetic icing and like what I call chemical jelly. Walks up to the door, he says, look at this. Puts his finger in it, goes, lovely, isn't it?
What was it?
It was a jelly, like he'd stuck his finger in, showing how marvellous it was. And what he was doing, he said, it saves you preparing food. I go round and prepare the food beforehand. You just give your order to my cafe and I come bring it to you. I thought, I'm not bleeding eating in that place. with his greasy finger, you know, sweltering hot days, like, Oh,
lovely.
Yes.
Thank you, but no thank you.
I've just got gum balls. Sorry about this, you know, have some.
Jeez.
Yeah. But,
that's a bit grim, Chris. Right, go on, Nathan.
Well, I was just so I'll give you the example of going back to manifestation. Right. I think she'll be all right if I mention a name for this, so I'm gonna call her out anyway. Right. A friend of mine, Carol, she's probably what I refer to as quite doomy, quite depressed. You know, she looks at the state of the world and she constantly, you know, she stresses about everything.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that she was terrified of happening is she relies on her car. So she had this little, what she referred to as the red peril. And she was absolutely petrified of losing this because obviously she needed it for a job, for socializing, for getting out of the house, for driving. You know, it was her lifeline effectively. And every year would come around to the MOT and she'd say, I'm absolutely terrified it's not going to pass. I don't think it's going to pass. Anyway, last year it didn't pass. The MOT failed, right? So she had to do a few bits of tinkering and then tried to get it for another MOT. You know, to see if, I don't know the rules behind that, so I'm going to shut up at that point. However, again, she was absolutely petrified. The car didn't pass its MOT. Shortly after that occurred, she had a massive car accident. I mean, there's nothing left of the car. She totaled it. It was just left on the side of the road. I mean, but her and the person that was in the car with her, they walked out completely unscathed. Right, so this is bringing this back into the mystical part of manifestation. She was concerned about the finances, about getting a new car. She was concerned about all the MOTs and all of the insurance, everything, right? Everything you can imagine, stressing about the whole thing. She walked out of the accident, not a scratch on either of them. Even the glasses, they ended up in the back seat, and she picked them up. And they were fine, absolutely fine, no scratch on them, no chips, nothing. The very next day, somebody gifted her a car. So,
Wow.
right? And all of those fears, all of those worries, gone, right? It gifted her a car, brand new car, problem solved. Now, how do you explain that one? So, by the way, is my mic? I'm getting a bit of feedback. Is it choppy in the chat, or is it just on my end? Is it all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
Is it-
Let's have a look at me. No,
Right,
Yeah.
just getting a bit of chop back. It's a bit
No.
weird. Okay,
hear it.
fine, that's good. So I've seen that kind of thing happen, which I can't explain that from a. Well, I mean, you can explain it. I mean, you could say that she was lucky and fortunate, etc., etc. Okay, that's fine, but there's something mystical there for that to happen. Again, I don't want to sound all new agey because I've got a problem with a lot of the new age anyway. But there you go. That's just to counterbalance the argument.
Yeah.
There we go.
That is very, very weird. I mean, I had a situation. I mean, I was making my kitchen cabinets, and I wanted to make one of these, sort of like hygiene type drawers that you pull out.
Yeah.
And now I'll make my own, you see. And I was thinking, when you go to timber and that, it's always standard sizes. And I needed these very small, very, very small lengths of wood, which are about ½ inch square in old money, half inch by about an inch. Walking down the road, somebody had dumped a wooden cot, an old-fashioned wooden cot, into some woodlands. I had the right amount of wood to do that pull-out cabinet, and that was exactly the size. The slats were exactly the size that I wanted. Isn't that a 1 to 1 chance?
Yeah.
That I could find that at that time. And it's quite incredible how these things sometimes happen.
Fall in your lap.
Like I was saying, I was thinking of a person yesterday, and I get an email from them the next day.
Yeah.
And I used to be able to, whether it's psychic or not, I was going to get a letter from someone. This was before the days of the internet. I'd think, I'd have a feeling I'm going to get a letter from someone, and it would land on the mat. There it is. You just get this gut feeling. I don't know what it is. It's very strange. Is it manifesting, or is it not?
Again, some people would argue that was just being lucky. Maybe it is, but then what are the odds that it's a precise fit for what you required?
Exactly.
Slightly concerning.
Yes.
Well, not concerning. Slightly. I don't know.
Yeah.
Curious.
Yeah.
A barefoot forager says no feedback, but Nathan is twice the volume of Debs and Chris. But I just thought that was because he is passionate.
See, ranty.
I accept. That's. Thank you. You're back to your good old throat. Oh God, I've just said old there. I'm going to shut up. Thank you for that. Is it genuinely twice the volume, or?
You sound all right to me.
Right. Okay. Then. So, I am ranty. I'll live with that.
As New Zealand correspondent, yes, we've got our New Zealand correspondent.
Yes,
sound is clear here. Yes.
Cheers. Thank you.
That's pretty good. Yes.
Well, I think it's just on this side because it just gets a bit choppy and it's kind of off-putting sometimes. So it's
we
weird.
can't hear it this side. Chris is
Well,
a little bit more.
You could always go to the pound shop and get a pair of highly expensive headphones like I've got.
Yes.
I can't afford it.
The pound shop, but they cost him £2, so I think he was ripped off there. He should have had two pairs.
Also, I had to sleep this night because of it. Actually, the pound shop sells two extremes, crap and good. I mean, I bought some sieves. I bought 3 sieves, stainless steel. They're bloody marvellous.
Yeah.
From the pound shop. They weren't a
But you never paid a quid for it, though, did you?
No, about £3 I think it was, something like that.
There you go.
A quid a sieve if you got 3 though.
Yeah, but there are some good stuff in there, which you can get. They're fashions.
I think they should rename like the pound shops to Quids Up.
Yeah.
And then it gives people the impression that they'll be Quids Up, but what it's basically saying is we'll keep putting the price up. Yeah. There you go. That's an accurate description, yeah.
A lot of Paul says the trick at pound shops is to go in and ask how much each item is.
Yeah, but I do that anyway now because you just bombarded with 1,000 different prices, and there's no pound items in the pound shop anymore.
Yeah,
Not even the chocolate bars. You go in there for a chocolate bar, and it's like £1.20. So it's
Well, the
it's
other thing
it's kind of lost its edge.
It's got smaller. It's what I reckon. Toblerones have got smaller. So you think you're paying the same price, but it's about half the size it was about last year. But
Snack size.
With this manifestation, back to that, there was a very interesting. There's an experiment that was done in a book called Supernature. This came out in the 1970s, and it's quite an interesting book. And that's right. And the Russians, this is during the Soviet period, they did experiments with, well, Americans were as well, with what they call it, distant seeing and all this sort of stuff.
Remote viewing.
Remote viewing, that's the word. And they had a rabbit had given birth, and they separated the rabbit and the cruel sods from the youngsters, and they took the youngsters out on a ship, and this is really awful, and it really is bad. They threw one doe at a time over the side of the ship, and they were in radio communication with where the female rabbit was, and every time the doe went over the ship, this rabbit reacted terribly.
I don't like that.
Like the jump. Yeah. So the mother knew, and the other one was during World War II. There was an American, I think he was in the Philippines, and the Japanese invaded, captured the Philippines, and they lined these men up, and one after another they were shooting them, and he sent a kind of telepathy message to his mother, and where his mother was, the time in the Philippines, it would have been something like the middle of the night where his mother was. And he sent this telepathic message, and she woke up and got this sort of like message from her son, and luckily they missed him. They shot the bloke next to him, missed him, and then shot the bloke the other side, and he survived.
Right.
Isn't that amazing? But his mother knew. Correction, it wasn't an American, he was a Canadian, that was it. Because she was actually, I think, in Vancouver. Because it wasn't American, yeah, it was Vancouver she was. But his mother, when he got home, his mother knew that he was okay. Because she got a letter, missing, believed, killed. He'd been captured, and then they thought he'd been missing, but she knew he'd survived. And there was another situation where my sister went to France with her husband, well, sort of a boyfriend at that time, he was, and her aunt, or my mother's sister, what is it? My grandmother's sister, what would that be? Great aunt? Don't know. Anyway, she was a marvellous lady. She was very telepathic with that, and she died. And my sister particularly liked this lady. And when she came home from her holidays, because in those days you didn't have mobile phones or anything like that, or internet, Mum said, "Look, I've got some news." She said, "Yeah, Aunt, what sort of died?" You know, she's I've been thinking about all holiday. She knew. That weird. Very, very strange.
To me, that's more like a really strong psychic link.
Yeah, I would agree. I was thinking that as you're saying it, I'm thinking it's not really, you're not manifesting that, you're not creating that. It's more like a link. Not to be disrespectful or anything. It's just.
Well, that's right. Her Aunt Ethel, that was her name. I forgot the name, but Aunt Ethel, she had this thing, like, for example, I was told this. I was too young to remember, but the used to have a piano, and occasionally with expansion and contraction, the keys would go bong, you know, and she'd say, "Lift the lid, let the spirits out." One of the things she'd say. So yeah, Mum would go, "Lift the lid to let the spirits out," you know, different things like that.
If you rub it 3 times, you get 3 wishes.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but
No, go on, Chris.
Let's finish. The amazing thing is, sadly, this woman lost her husband during the war, and he was basically killed. She always thought he was still alive, probably in Russia or somewhere, because he was actually in the Navy. And unfortunately, long after her death, I discovered what really happened to him via the internet. And a U-boat sunk the ship that he was on. So I did find out. It was off the coast of Iceland. But my Aunt Ethel, or it wasn't my aunt, no, my mother's aunt, Ethel, her and her husband were devoted, absolutely devoted. And she was absolutely, broken woman. She had a young son that she had to bring home. Anyway, on with the story. By just sheer strangeness, sheer coincidence. Many years after this chap, after the war, she met her first love of her life. She met at school, and they lived together happily ever after.
Oh.
Yeah. So
That's sweet.
Yeah. So Arthur, I think his name was. Yeah. So
can I just stop you, Chris? Your sound isn't as clear as it normally is. It's quite muffled.
Yeah, I'm having a bit of difficulty. It's
right. Okay, I'll have a.
That's slightly better since you pulled it towards you. It's just kind of like a bit.
Yeah.
That's probably it. As that. Yeah, it's the. Yeah, let's have a look. What I'll do, I'll have a check of the master setting to see what it is. Give me a second.
Right, it's a bit clearer now. You've pulled it towards you.
Yeah.
That's probably the reason. But I'll have a look, see what the microphone's doing in the main settings. Just bear with me.
Jojo wants to know if you got your microphone from the pound shop.
No, this cost quite a bit of money. This one did.
Take it back and get one from the pound shop.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yes. Right. I think my device. No, it's on 100, so it should be okay. It's
it's better now you've moved it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It is moving. You got to speak right into it. So if you've been eating nuts or anything like that, it gets bombarded.
Nice.
Yeah, lovely. Let's do the main settings in another area. Was that a creaking door I heard then?
That was my creaking chair.
Creaking chair. Yeah, the mic's okay in here.
Can't work it out.
Yeah, that's all right.
Can we do the chat thing that we mentioned before the show? Yes. So can we have chat? Yeah. So what I was thinking is before the show, obviously we did manifestation last week and kept kind of going off course. I would like it if the chat could throw questions specific to manifestation to us, and if it's specific to a certain person or all three of us. Do that, and then we can try and make it a bit more specific and try and focus in on specific questions or inquiries or anything like that. And then it's we get a bit of audience interaction as well as that. So how about that? Should we go for that for the second half? Yeah.
Why not? Why not?
Questions and comments in capitals.
Yeah, please. Yeah, that'd be great.
And also, should Nathan crack the chicken joke? This is the question.
Maybe just before we go off.
I could chance it just before we go off, and then leave people with a smile on their face, or as I was yesterday when I was told it was just like, oh, wow. It's a good one, though.
Have you ever cracked a gag though in a crowd of people that haven't got a sense of humour? It goes down like a lead balloon, but you get the giggles. That is the most embarrassing thing. So you're laughing at your own joke, but and when you look at people that's got a face like a smacked arse, you sort of go.
Yeah, and then they say, "Well, you're laughing at your own jokes. You're a girl."
Yeah.
All right,
Strange things do to me, and I will wake up in the night and start laughing.
Well, do you want another sad thing? Right, I'll tell you the sad thing about this. Right, so I'm not sleeping properly at the minute. I'm getting like between 5 and 6 hours a night. This is completely
not even getting that.
Yeah, well, I've heard some interesting explanations for it. However, I woke up this morning. The dream that I had was quite. I'm not going to say it was a nightmare, but it was nightmarish. It was like one of those dreams that you wouldn't want to kind of have. Yeah. But just before I woke, I think I woke myself up in the dream because of this joke that I was told yesterday. In my dream, it was told again, and of course, I woke up laughing. I'm thinking, what That's bizarre. That I've never woke up laughing from a joke that somebody told me in my dream from the day before. I'm thinking, what? How the hell does that work? So I'm sat there at 6:30 in the morning, going, "What's wrong with me? Why am I laughing at the joke? Why have I woke up laughing from a nightmare?" Anyways, crackers. People are going to get me bloody committed now.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. The man with the square wheels is on its way.
Do I get free food? I don't know. Is it food? Do I get some? I can't even say that on YouTube, can I? Never mind.
Might be a bit crappy.
Yeah, yeah. I'd rather die than go into that bloody place. I'll tell you. Forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I used to actually get myself out of depression by making myself laugh and writing gags, and I actually do think that humour is a medicine. Laughter is a medicine. Unless you've got diarrhea, that's the sounds.
Chris, I wonder about you and your fart stuff sometimes. It does make me. I think you should genuinely put one of these fart in a jar companies together. I think it is your perfect niche market. You can market it as fucking whole farts. You know, I mean, this is you could be a millionaire in less than 20 minutes probably on YouTube. I mean, you know.
Well, Paul says, why do we find farts funny? Do you remember Blackadder when he was in the First World War? And I think he gets captured by the Germans. And this German said, why does your English find breaking off the wind funny? It's just a perfectly normal bodily function. Why do you find it funny? You know, and I think who acted that part? I can't remember. But it was funny. But I think really though, I'm actually thinking of actually doing a top 10 list of fear porn. Because you remember, as we said before I came on air, Fluff, or was it, what was that bloke now? Years ago, used to do
Freeman.
Freeman, that was it, Alan Freeman. My sister used to... My sister used to listen to that avidly, and I'd think, turn that bleeding stuff off. So my sister and I have never really got along very well. And he'd say, now pop pickers are... Number 10, well, you could do the same, you know. And now, fear porn figures, and we can sort of do things like, you know, number 10 or number 9, it's global warming. Number 8 is meteorite hitting the Earth. Number 7, and we could do all these sort of fear porn. We could have a sort of number 1 hit every week, you know, that we could all vote for what is the worst fear porn you can think of.
Right. Can I do something completely out of character then, Chris? And this, I think this is gonna stun everyone, including me. Right? So, oh bloody hell! Right, as this is a show about manifesting, right? How about instead of doing a top 10 fear porn, why don't we do the top 10 things that are actually optimistic? Right? There's got to be something out there that's hopeful and optimistic. And we can make a top 10 of that every week. And instead of being down in the fucking dumps all the time, maybe we can raise people's spirits. And that is probably as surprising to me as it is to everyone else. You're welcome.
Excellent. I like it. I think it's this. And also, it fights the enemy because they want us to be depressed.
Oh, God, yeah.
Get positive into everyone. So, yes, what is positive?
We'll see it in now. Going,
why not?
2 seconds. I'm gonna do some window shutting and stuff. Right, 2 seconds.
Did a pigeon shit on Keir Starmer's head? Now that's a positive, isn't it? That'd be nice if you're standing outside number 10. You go down the front of him.
I think we shoot them before they get to number 10.
Yes, I think.
I was on for something a little bit more productive, to be fair.
On this show.
Yeah.
So, anybody think of something optimistic?
You really have to do your research for that one.
Oh, you can buy a push bike in Argos for £100. You used to.
Can you?
Yeah, it's about £100. It's a racing bike, and
wow.
£100.
That's very positive.
£1.
Yeah.
But then look how you're stressed about £2, Chris. You know, it's
apparently it's halfway decent as well. Because a bloke test drove it on YouTube, and he says, "Yeah, it's quite good actually." You know,
it's not bad.
Usually they drive it on a road or something, don't they? It's like I would think that was more. Anyway, try. So we've got a question. Do you want to have a look at that? And why have we only got one question? Come on, guys, how weird? There's got to be some of you out there that want some, So how about?
Is it this one?
Yeah, go for it.
Right, here it comes.
My horrible question: Is this the reason? Is the reason manifestation doesn't work for you guys because you're all very cynical and have had quite traumatic experiences that you've just buried rather than processing?
All right, who wants to go first?
That is a good one because we've all had nasty childhood experiences, haven't we?
Yeah.
All three of us.
But manifestation doesn't work for me because I don't put the effort. I don't put the effort in. It's like meditation. Kind of.
You can't use that as an excuse. That's oh my god, that's terrible. Oh, it doesn't work for me because I can't be arsed with it. I mean, can't think why that would not work. Being
honest, yeah, I can't focus my attention on stuff very well. I have tried.
I think
interesting.
I think inner happiness is the most things that we should aim for, to find inner happiness, because when you see people around, you're seeing a mask. We've all got a mask.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I mean, for example, the narcissist bully is generally a weak little boy.
Yeah.
The busybody, the troublemaker, has generally got a lot to hide. And when they're troublemakers, because they want to push their nasty life away from them. So by taking the moral high ground, then it's taking the onus off of them. So I've usually found that people who are very unpleasant or will, shall we say, cause trouble for other people, they're doing that because they want to take the moral high ground to hide their negativity in their life.
So that's what I'd refer to as inversion and deflection, right? Which is to me a very narcissistic thing. It's kind of it's a defense mechanism for them, isn't it? So if they put other people down, it makes them feel better about themselves, right? And if they constantly get into the habit of doing that, then they become the bully, and again, maybe it's an interesting way of putting
it. You see, this is why I don't really, if someone is offensive to me now, I don't really get upset about it, because I think, all right, if I've done something wrong and I'm guilty of doing something wrong, well, yes, okay, they have a right to, and I'll apologise. Me. But the thing is, if you're, I don't know, walking along the road, someone says, "Get out of my bloody way," and knocks you out of the way, what's wrong with that person? Why have they done that? Probably not like that normally. Is something upset them, or maybe they think you look like somebody that they don't like, anything like that. But I think that, as I said on the previous show, you don't know what hell that person is going through in their mind. So it's always best to just sort of, I think, try and keep that close, but then sort of calm every situation down by asking the question, what is the best outcome for yourself?
But look at the, yeah, I get I get that, and yeah, people are all too quick to judge. I'm the same. I judge fucking everyone. But the thing is, look at the effect that person has on your day, right? So if somebody's horrible to you or rude to you, or somebody gives you a nasty comment first thing in the morning, right, or even halfway through your day, that then makes you feel crap, right? It can put you into a really, really bad you could get frustrated and upset, etc., or you can even get angry, right? So then everything that comes after that point, there's going to be a negative spin on it. So you could be all right 1 minute and you're getting on just fine, you're flowing through your day, and the next thing, some dickhead ruins it for you, and that's now circulating around your mind, and then you're going to take that wherever you go with you, and then so is that not potentially, and again, I hate to sound new agey, so if I do, I apologize, but again, it's a real life situation, isn't it? So we can use it. that's going to have a knock-on effect on your mood and therefore your behaviors, and then that's going to affect everything that happens to you on that night or the following day, etc., etc. If somebody puts you in a bad frame of mind, a negative frame of mind, then you're going to take that with you, and you can't. It's not something you just say, oh well, I'll just shut it off. It doesn't work that way, because unless you're a psychopath or a sociopath, maybe it works for them, but it's an interesting one.
Yeah,
you're right.
Hey, I'm right. Like that.
If you're hypersensitive, it can ruin your day.
Yeah.
But also, I think that being taken out of your comfort zone, because people react in a way that you don't expect, you're taken out of your comfort zone. So what do? You sort of, what? That is the thing. And narcissists are very clever at taking you out of your comfort zone.
Oh yeah.
And the other one is taking what you say out of context. I've had that. So the thing is,
so often I've had that one by so many people. It's just like, oh my God, will you just let me finish what I'm saying before you jump to the wrong conclusion? I get, honestly, it's exhausting sometimes. It's you can be sat there in a room full of people and they'll all, oh yeah, well you're saying no, I'm not bloody saying that. You jumped to the wrong conclusion completely,
Yeah.
Well, but also, I think that the big problem again, people are wearing masks. We all wear masks. You see somebody first thing in the morning, they'll be very different when they've washed, dressed, and they're sort of sitting at the breakfast table. It was sort of, but the thing that I've actually found people is that.
Chris, could you just come a bit closer to the mic again, because it's a bit hazy again.
It's almost down my throat. Is that better? I mean, it really is down.
It's all crackly and misty for some reason. It's usually really clear.
It's really strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hang on. Shall I put my other headphones on?
Yeah, try that. See if that.
Yeah. Hang on.
That might have something to do with it.
Right.
Yeah, so it keeps getting a bit muffled and hazy. I don't know how else to describe it. Just going back to Holly's question about the processing of trauma, because I think that's another one that does impact. Again, it's like the whole idea of somebody giving you a bad day, or you're going to carry that through your day. Well, it's the same with trauma. If you've got severe life traumas, then that, of course, it's going to impact on you. You're going to take that through your life with you. And if you've had so many traumas and negative experiences and you've been hammered by them repeatedly, your outlook in the world is going to be, well, everything's going to be shit. So therefore, my attitude is going to reflect that, and everything's going to be shit. And so then I'm going to put less effort in things. I'm going to care less about things, and so you you talk yourself down a lot of the. I know, because I'm speaking from experience. I've done it all my life. I've had a hell of a deal through this, and so again, of course that can affect your ability to, and again, manifest, create, whatever you want to use. Of course that's going to have a massive impact. But the only way to reverse that, or to deal with it, is to, as you would say, go on the inside of you, do the shadow work, whatever you want to call it. Resolve personal issues, insecurities, and sometimes, unfortunately, some of them can't be resolved and some of them can. So there you go. So finish that particular.
I think I've found the answer to the problem. Is this better?
Yeah, that is better. See,
do you know what the problem was? Do you know what the problem was?
The earphones.
Yeah.
It cut off this microphone. I was speaking through this microphone, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was through this. So every time I scratched my bum or something, you could always.
I nearly said, has it got an inbuilt microphone? Because I've got one that's got that on it, and it'll cancel out the other one.
That's what it did. Because this is almost down the back of my throat. I mean, this costs a lot more money, shall we say? Because Paul said, get this. And to tell you something, it's a bloody good microphone. I was thinking, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with it? That's the reason why. So no wonder the sound was shitty. So, oh well.
We can hear you now.
I was going to say that's way clearer.
Yeah, it is.
Much better.
Yes.
Apparently, Six said it's your end. It's fine. It's fine through, obviously through YouTube, but we're on a different thingy to that.
My end is a lot clearer now. So
I'm glad you've shared that with us, Chris. We all needed to know that. Thank you.
There was a comedian called Ted Ray, and he came out this on live, apparently on radio, and there's having lunch, and someone shouts, "Any sandwiches up your end, Ted?" He said, "I sincerely hope not. I'd be very uncomfortable." And that was in the 50s, apparently.
It would have been funny back then as well, because that would have been taboo, like proper taboo back then.
Learning to emotionally regulate ourselves and respond, not react, is. I agree. Yeah. We're not taught it, and I think the worst thing is if it's a situation where something you've said has been taken out of context, and it's only between two people, and the worst thing you can do, and everybody's against you, the worst thing you could do is try and show your innocence. It's best to shut up and walk away. Always. Because you're guilty, whatever you say in their eyes, and everything you do to try and prove your innocence, you'll be like a fly in a spider's web.
Yeah.
So if you're amongst a load of people pointing the finger, and this is like, I could never understand how, this is how people got hauled up for being witches. They tried to prove their innocence. They should have shut up and run. But that's the best thing, because you're guilty in their eyes, whatever happens, and the more you say, the worse it gets for you. So it's best to just shut your gob and get away.
Again, some people just judge you because they don't like you or they don't like the look of you, and so they've already made the conclusion. And anything that they want to make of you, they'll make an example of you regardless.
Just precisely.
Going into that about the learning to emotionally regulate. So I've done talks on this, and I link it into critical thinking. And this is where the whole idea of the triune brain comes into discussions in critical, and especially the truth movement should know this by now, right? Okay, there's three segments to your brain. You've got the ancient, the mammalian, and then the prefrontal neocortex, right? So you've got your R complex is the oldest, and therefore that's your flight and fight response. Then you've got your emotional brain, which is your mammalian brain, which is kind of the not necessarily fight and flight, but the emotional reactive side of your brain, right? So and that I would say is directly linked to your stomach through your vagus nerve and stuff like that, right? And then you've got your thinking brain, or your cortex, which is your rational center. But of course, when a lot of us, when we are in a state of fear, anxiety, or stress, we automatically go. I mean, a lot of people are straight to reptilian complex for that, but a lot of people will react emotionally to a problem before they'll start to think it through. Yeah. And again, I'm speaking from experience. I'm guilty of this myself, and I think a lot of us are. Sorry, carry on.
No, I was just going to say, we are. We all do that.
Yeah, but it's curious that. I mean, in the so-called truth movement, we should all be aware of this through various people, going into vast amounts of detail on it. But that if you are in a reactive state or a flight or fight state, if you're in your R complex, if you're in your lower consciousness, if you want to call it that, I mean, it is technically, then you're not going to operate efficiently. You're not going to think things through efficiently. Your results are going to be tarnished by your reactivity. So again, I think that's quite an interesting thing to.
Also, I mean, I'll give you an example. Survival Steve. Sorry, I just bashed myself there. Survival Steve is a trained soldier. So was my dad. He was a conscript during the war. So if Survival Steve got into a situation where he had to use that, instinctively his training would just kick in, bang. His training would take over, his subconscious, everything, because he's been trained to do it. And when you come up against a narcissist, they are used to unpeeling people. They are experiencing it. So you are an amateur trying to get one up on the narcissist. You won't win. No. You won't win at all, because they are. It's like trying to beat the best, I don't know, soccer player at football or anything like that. No, the only thing you can do is keep your dignity, hold your ground, and just sort of be in, shall we say, control of the situation by saying a few words. And I found that out the hard way. Yeah. Because a narcissist, you won't beat them. You won't beat a psychopath either. because they are trained in it. And what they're doing, they're taking you out of your comfort zone. You're putting you, and when you're out of your comfort zone, you're very, very vulnerable. So it's best to kind of inner train yourself to, shall we say, like in a mannerism like Survivor Steve has been trained. I'm not talking about bashing someone's head in or anything like that. No, I'm not a violent person. But to kind of remain dignified and just control the situation by saying things that the narcissist doesn't expect. Like, what is the best? What's the best way out of this situation that would suit you? Or the other best one with a narcissist is, leave that with me, I'll get back to you on it. That leaves them in the hole. You're not getting ahead of them, but you're just showing your dignity. Leave that with me, I'll get back to you. Gives you time to think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So these are the sort of little things that but again, it's easier said that sitting in a nice comfortable seat talking to you. You be in a situation with a full-on narcissist, doesn't work out like that, because they are masters of what they do. At the end of the day, it's best to get the bloody hell out of the way of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Really, leg it. And I know that
this is the conclusion I've come to, Chris, is that you're never going to win. Especially, it's like, I mean, unfortunately, I've come up against a lot of sociopaths and psychopaths, especially in the last 10 years. They seem to just come out of the woodwork, and But once you've been around enough of them, you start to pick it up. You start to figure it out. But obviously, then there's the less severe of that, which is the narcissist, right? But now everyone's a narcissist because it's a catch bloody old term that everyone's using and misunderstands largely. However, I think the best way to deal with these people is to just cut them off, because you're never going to win against them. You're never going to change them. How can you change them? They're already perfect in their own view, right? They're already charismatic and perfect and never wrong, etc., etc. Okay, fine. You have fun with that. I'm done now. I'm out. And this is a cutthroat method. And unfortunately now, I think it's necessary for a lot of people to start realizing the signs and the warnings and just think, right, okay, well, I don't have to put up with that. See ya. Bye-bye. And grey rock, basically.
It took me a lot of years to do that, but yeah, that's what I had to do eventually.
Yeah.
Well, this is one of minor reasons why I was freelance. What I did, because if I went onto a project with some absolute obnoxious bastard there, I'd walk. I just sod this. I'm not standing this.
Yeah.
Now that's easier said than done, if there's plenty of work around. But there wasn't always plenty of work around.
No.
And 9 times out of 10, you get the nasty contracts when there wasn't much work around. But the thing is that it's just best to, as you're right to say, cut them off, distance yourself from them.
Yeah.
And
I mean, there is a lot of them these days. Let's be honest. I mean, there is. I think smartphones and technology's got a lot to do with that, because it's all me focused, right? I think the whole the word meme it's me, right? And we're passing them out everywhere, and it's all about how do I give myself constant satisfaction and endorphin release? Just how do I constantly feed that, or cut yourself off from it?
Yeah,
it's horrible. But I mean, so there is an excess amount of narcissists. I don't think nearly as many as people think there are. But I mean, just because you don't like somebody or you disagree doesn't make them a narcissist.
That's
but
right.
People have got to. This is a new phenomenon. We've got to deal with it somehow. And the best way to do that is, okay, well, if you think that behaviour is acceptable, find someone else who'll put up with it, because I'm not gonna.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, learn to listen to yourself. The wise owl that sits on your shoulder that you can't see.
Sits on your what, Eric?
A wise owl that sits on your shoulder that says, that gut feeling. There's some people you just think there's something not quite right about them. But to be, shall we say, diplomatic, you say, oh, hello, how are you? You think, something not bleeding right about them. There's something doesn't quite switch on. And to listen to our gut feeling, because that is drummed out of us when we're at school. Right. Sit down, shut up, listen to the teacher, pay attention. Yeah. And, I mean, I remember the teacher saying to me, because I was always gazing out the window. She said, curiosity killed the cat, and that's what's going to kill you. I'll never forget that. She said, because you're always curious about what's happening outside, but you're never interested in what's happening inside.
Yeah, I was like that.
I was a dreamer. I used to sit there going, dream it, because there used to be like a sort of fields next to my school, well, a kind of field next to my school, and there was a sparrow hawk that used to hover around. And I used to sort of be fascinated. Look at this sparrow hawk. Couldn't give a shit what the teacher was saying. But really, I think our schooling does do us a lot of damage, but the most damage is done, I think, is in our childhood. And if we had a particularly unpleasant childhood, I don't like being reminded of it personally, I think that can set you up badly for the rest of your life in many ways, relationships and things like that. But it takes a long time because your conditioning is like the programming of a computer is up to about the age of 7 or 8 years of age. So from that time onwards, your conditioning.
The Jesuits
knew
that.
Way.
No, there was a Jesuit slogan attached to that, which is give me a child till the age of 7 and I'll show you the man, isn't it? And how many times have they proven that? I mean, that's how best to socially engineer the next generation and to get them in childhood, right? And they're very, very efficient at it.
Yeah.
So,
and if you're a hypersensitive person, you will be a target for a narcissist.
Oh yeah.
Or a psychopath. Hypersensitive people, they're like bees around a honeypot. Why?
It's not,
because they can emotionally destroy you.
It's not just that though either. It's flaws. I mean, I was chubby as a kid. I mean, chubby as an adult, but I was chubby as a kid, and that was one of the main focuses. And then that gives you a complex all the way through your life.
Oh, find a weakness. This is what it's a bully boy thing. It's to deflect away from themselves. So they're going to find a weakness in everyone else, and then they pummel it in, and then because of the whole I don't even use that bloody term. Let's say cult psychosis phenomenon. I can't say the proper word for it because it'll get booted off YouTube. But that then kicks in, and so everyone parrots everyone else's behavior, and suddenly then you know there might be nothing wrong with you, but all it takes is for one dickhead to be nasty to you. And again, I'm speaking from experience. If they say it enough, and if enough people say it to you, then you start to believe that for yourself, and then your self-image then reflects that, and so you carry that through life with you as well.
Yeah.
You know, how can it not? Of course, it's going to affect the way you take it through.
Yeah, it's like a worm.
It hurts you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But just Herodotus, he's made a comment there. I am the owl, I seek the fowl. Yeah, that's basically the whole Machiavellian psychology, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's right.
Actively.
So, but I think that when you're a sensitive person, you're not equipped to deal with the narcissist types. That's the problem.
Not initially.
Not initially.
No.
You learn from wisdom. And I think there's no such thing as a bad experience. It is all part of the qualifications in the University of Life. So out of every bad experience, like our childhoods, we could say, oh, that was terrible. No, because that has given us wisdom that we use to help other people. And I think that's very important.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like before I had any bereavements in my life, I've probably said this probably a million times. If someone said, oh, I've lost my whatever, I'd politely say, I'm sorry to hear that. But that was just a polite thing to say.
Yeah, because you didn't have any feeling about that. You didn't have any empathy.
As a child, because as a child, most children are selfish in many ways until the age of about 7 or 8. But now I have lost loved ones. If someone says they've lost it, that comes from the heart, I think.
Yeah, because you know.
Because I know what, and I can also, you can sympathise with them and you can help that person more.
Yeah.
Now, us three, we didn't have a particularly happy time, but that I think has given us a wisdom that you couldn't buy, you couldn't learn in a college or a school, or a psychiatrist couldn't learn it. That has given us a unique form of wisdom that is an advantage. There's no such thing as a disadvantage in a way, you know. So
it's the old maxim, though, isn't it? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I mean, you know, some people are weak enough to be overwhelmed by it, whereas other people find the strength within to overcome. So, but then that falls in line again And that, bringing it back to the whole manifestation thing, that is all going to have an impact on how we progress through life and whether we effectively get what we want or we're pushing it away, right? So
yeah,
that's right.
So can I shout at the chat a minute? Because we need some more
Certainly.
questions. We need some. Come on, guys, throw some at us.
Yes. A poor old Stig said, sick of bereavements, especially the outfall of, you know, it's quite disturbing. The other thing is we're getting a bit sort of serious. So, come on in chat. Do we need Nathan's gag? Ooh.
You're putting me on the spot
what about
now.
that special?
You put me on the spot. It's going to come out wrong.
What about this special offer?
Special offer. There we go. We'll start with that one before I get booted from everyone's good books for terrible jokes. That wasn't mine. Right. So for anybody who's in Eric Von Essex's Fockham Hall Telegram groups, and you would like a signed copy of my book. So you've got 2 Telegram groups as far as I'm aware. So I'm going to make an offer specifically for people in the Fockham Hall groups, where is if you contact me through his group, through Chris, then I'm offering my book at £15 as a special offer to exclusively for Chris's audience. And that includes postage and packaging. So there you go. As a special offer for you.
Bloody good special offer, that is. That's right. A real good one.
And now I'll get us kicked off YouTube, shall I? Shall I try it?
Fake Awake, excellent book. I'm an exceptionally slow reader. Seriously, I read over, I stop, because I've got the mind of a person that uses books to research. So I find what I want, research. So reading a book cover to cover, I have to train my brain to do that. Seriously, because I'm a sort of a research type person. So I've always delved into books and put them away, delved into them. But it's bloody good book, I can tell you that. It's really
Thank you very much.
You're a very good author. And because I've actually started quite a few books, but never finished them. Writing, I mean.
I've done that.
There's 2 more in the process, but I keep flitting between. I've stalled on one of them because I know where I want to take it, but I've made it a little bit too clinical, and I'm trying to kind of pad it out a bit.
Well, I'm writing a book about bullshit because you see, there's a dictionary if you want to look up how to spell a word. There's a thesaurus if you want to look up, different meanings of or different ways of a word, and there's nothing you can look up for bullshit. So I'm thinking of a bullshit book where, someone's bullshit. It's looking at, oh yes, page 35. There it is. So because to me, it's an art form, and someone has given performance art for you, and people pay good money for an artist, and you get it free. So you should appreciate it and look on bullshit like a kind of art critic. Yes, it's someone's bullshitting you. I mean, my uncle used to have a card, seriously, and it's printed, I'm a great bullshitter myself, but please carry on. I love listening to an expert. He used to give it to people because he couldn't stand bullshit. But I like bullshit, especially because it's funny. Politicians are particularly good at it, aren't they? I mean, let's face it,
I think Herodotus there is asking, where do we all go? I'm assuming that's in to do with the offer. If you've got Telegram, if you find Fockham Hall, again, Chris, you'd be the best person to...
Well, if you look, I've got underneath my name here, my Telegram channel. And if you tip on, if you press on that, that'll lead you straight to your Telegram channel, and it's down below. No, not in my crutch. It's actually in the description below this video. You see,
and it's scrolling. It's scrolling across the bottom now.
Yeah, I mean, my neighbour's dog keeps getting it wrong because my neighbour's dog watches this show, and he keeps come up sniffing my crutch, and I say, no, it's in the description box below. So
he's hearing that as telegraph pole, not telegram.
So,
not your crutch, obviously.
See, very intelligent dog he is, very intelligent, but doesn't know how to read the description below the back. So there's a link there. And for some unknown reason, I've actually I've got 2 Telegram channels. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me how. But
one of them
you can't comment on, and the other one you can't. One's got 138 members, and the other one's got 33, I think it is.
Oh, he's a Freemason. He's a Freemason.
Have you any experiences of manifesting being possible? Deb's mentioned parking spaces. Chris talked about buildings.
Yeah.
I'm
trying not to put. I manifested the love of my life. Does that count?
Yeah.
You.
Go on, say it. Go on, say it, Chris. Go on. No, you cheating. There you go. There you go. That should answer that one.
There you go.
Don't know how I did it. So.
Well, you manifested it. That's how he did it.
Yes.
Guilty.
Anything's possible.
Right.
Parking spaces, definitely, because I did it again the other day.
Yes, it is interesting. I mean, for example, I'll tell you what I did do once. I was driving to Miles's place in Waltham Abbey, Dr. Miles, for a top-up of tablets, and I was a bit late, and because he closes at 5 o'clock, and this is about just getting on past 4 it was, and there's this bloody great traffic jam, and I just thought that traffic jam is going to dissipate. It's going to go. And as I got to the end of the traffic jam, the traffic started to move, and I just drove straight on.
There you go.
It's really weird.
That's not where I thought you were going with that one, Chris. I thought you were going to say there was an EV and it blew up and cleared the road. You know, it's just
well, that's a normal thing, isn't it? You know? Yeah, that's a normal thing. I've got 2 bloody EVs around where I live. I'm a bit pissed off about that. I don't like them.
No, I don't. I nearly got run over by one the other day.
Oh, you know what they've got now? They've got EV buses, battery buses. Now, I'm on my bike.
You've done it now. Well, here comes Paul. Here comes Paul to tell us about the EV buses. They're never going to turn up, these buggers, are they? They're not going to be late. They're just not going to turn up because they'll be blowing up in the bus station.
Well, I was on my bike and I thought, what the heck is that behind me? And I looked around, there's a bleeding great bus there. There's an electric one. I thought, because normally you can tell what's coming up behind you by the sound of the engines.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Stig's bang on there.
Spot on. Have you got them in New Zealand, Stig? Bloody EVs, poxy things.
I think they have, yeah.
Everyone's got the buggers.
Hate them.
Cameroon will have them. You know, be 3 years behind us, but
yeah.
I don't know. Have you seen that bloke in Uganda? Apparently, there's a bloke in Uganda who's got a way of picking up energy from the ether, like Nikola Tesla did.
Was he?
Yeah, and his motorbikes apparently they're running on thin air. Go on to YouTube and find it out. Yeah, the president of Uganda's pretty, likes the bloke. But how long is the poor sod going to live for? That's what I wonder.
Well, they don't tend to last very long, do they? Really, if they go against the current agenda. And
no.
Yeah. Funny that. I can't think why that might be. But there we go. So.
Oh my God, fathers, never. Oh no. Every second car in Auckland is a sodding EV.
No.
Wow. But you've got a smaller population now in New Zealand, so it's easy to roll out because there's going to be less people to push back against it because money talks, and the more people, the more money's flowing through the economy. So,
seen the price of these bastards though? They're about 3 times the price of a petrol engine car.
Yeah, no, but it depends how well they're pushed on. I mean, if the mainstream's pushing it, then people are going to buy it. And what happens when they don't give you the choice? It's.
And look how much it is to replace your battery when that's knackered.
Well, you're basically you're getting money and pouring it down the drain. That's basically what you're doing because, I mean, it's... here we are. Stig says, that's right. Oh, sorry, Deb. Yes, she switches on. I switch it off accidentally. Yes, it's how to be rude to people without realising it. I'll stick to my planet hating eternal combustion. Yeah, it's good. You get a lovely bit of CO2 out the back, and the plants love it. So there we go.
Exactly.
I still seriously don't understand how people are buying into this bullshit narrative. I mean, I bought into it in the early stages of it, but for different reasons. it's just none of it makes any sense at all. It's completely inverted. It's completely backwards and doesn't make any scientific sense whatsoever. Yeah. Next, please. Yeah, next.
Well,
I don't want to go down that because
this is what gets me. And there's something, I don't know. You hear that going along the road.
You can hardly even hear that.
And also think
of
those
spaceships, don't they?
Those electromagnetism inside. And why they got a bloody great computer screen in front of them? Well, sorry, you want the least of distractions when you're in a car as possible. All I want to know is speedo and rev counter. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, and whether you've got petrol in it, obviously.
Oh, and petrol, yeah. That's it.
Well, maybe it's modelled after Star Trek, the Starship Enterprise.
Yeah.
With an EV. That was terrible. I didn't expect a giggle.
I like that. Yeah. Right, I'm putting this on the screen.
Thanks. I'll keep my hands away from the keyboard and the mouse. In 1 year, my car leaves way less of a carbon footprint than manufacturing one EV. Yeah, but this carbon footprint's a load of old cobblers anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, what do they pump into greenhouses to make the plants grow? CO2.
Yeah, but then they chop all the trees down for sustainability because they apparently, trees are bad for us now. It's not like they're the lungs of the earth or anything. And people believe it because they're stupid.
Yes.
That's very stupid.
Stupid. Of all the things that proper piss me off, it's the destruction of the environment by the very people telling us that we are responsible for the destruction of the environment.
Yeah.
And, talk about absolute divine gaslighting. I mean, that's got to be the king of all gaslighting, hasn't it? We're going to destroy the planet whilst convincing you we're saving the planet, and we're going to blame it all on you. And you're going to buy it up, and you're going to do it. You're just going to believe it and buy into it. All right, have fun with that.
But
what happens when they've finished destroying the planet and they've terraformed it for whatever the hell they're terraforming it for? They're going to make it into a nice cold ice box that's unlivable. And now they're on about sucking the carbon out of the oceans. Yeah, well done. Who came up with that? Bill. Idea. Yes. I couldn't possibly think of that one. And and then they're on about blocking out the sun. Well, you've been doing that for the last 20, 30 years. But it's anybody with a pair of eyes can see that. But apparently, no. That now they're going to start making it worse. Okay. Right. I'm going to shut up because I can feel myself dragging it down from now. I'm going to shut up about that because it's not about that tonight. So. Hey,
have you seen the sky first? That's right. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over there, Nathan. Very sorry. I'm just normally rude. Shut up whilst I'm interrupting. But have you seen the sky first thing in the morning? It's like a bleeding load of white trails. It's a right mess. But
we're all over yesterday.
That's right. But do you think that the government is using manifestation on us? Because I think they are. Because you think about it. You manifest fear. And apprehension. You manifest a lot of things in the people's minds, and they'll take it along with them. Look at fear porn, a perfect example. Went out in my car, driving along, and there's a bus shelter. They got fear porn on the bus. Was it prostate cancer?
Yeah.
Like that. Got behind a bus. Prostate cancer. What do you call it? A poster on the back of a bus. Yeah. Looked up a little bit higher. Shingles. Next to me, there's a lorry. These bloody great builders lorries. The ones that deliver building materials. Sodding great thing it was. And on the side, prostate cancer. That's working on the subconscious.
Here's one for you.
Thinking,
Here's one for in line with that. So, how dare I mention certain supermarkets with green logos in this country? Or should I just leave it with it? Let's say the supermarket that's got a green logo. Mm-hmm. I saw a van, these food delivery vans that drop off online orders and stuff. I saw one of these food delivery vans pass me the other day, and it had, I think it was a lime and an apple in a bra. Right, this is a food. Bearing in mind, this is a food delivery van, and I'm looking at it. I'm thinking, what's that got to do with food?
Yeah.
And anyway, I looked at it as it came back round, and it was on about breast cancer. I'm thinking that's just what you need with your order for, your home shopping, isn't it?
Yeah.
You might have breast cancer. What's that got to do with food? Stick to what you're supposed to be doing, supermarket, and provide the fucking food if that's what you call it.
I agree.
But I'm just looking at it thinking it's a bloody shit show, isn't it? It's just an absolute mockery at this time.
Well,
Yeah.
do you know what?
Just diverting,
thanks, Deb.
Diverting off the subject a little slightly. Have we all seen these adverts that they're trolling out now about full body deodorant? If it smells, whack some of this on it.
What?
Yeah. There's one of the big deodorant brands. In fact, no, two of the big deodorant brands are doing it. If it's put it on your feet, you can put it under your boobs, you can put it
anywhere
down there. Yeah. If it smells, use this. Well, what about a bar of soap and a flannel?
Yes. Water.
It's almost like they're trying to cut our humanity off from us and our animal nature, so that we don't interact properly with other people and with the opposite sex and with society in general and with your family members. They're going to try and mask everything and cut it. I'm going to shut up.
And the second advert has somebody following somebody twice, somebody following somebody along and sniffing their ass. I'm watching this and I'm thinking, what? I really don't know where we're going as regards to adverts and things. I thought we'd hit it with periods and stuff like that and having to be all graphic and now we've just gone to another level.
Oh, we've got peak insanity, haven't we?
Yeah.
Well, do you remember that advert with Claire Rayner? I've never forgotten it. And it was like a lecture studio. And Claire Rayner's there. And there's advertising sanitary towels. So there's all these ladies all sitting around talking about sanitary towels. They're just...
We all know they're required. We all know what they're for. Yeah. We just don't need a graphic display of whatever.
Well, yeah, why don't they advertise toilet paper? You're wipe your arse with it. Oh, look at that. Oh, I've got a nice pile of shit on there, you know. I mean, it's just... I think it's what it is actually doing. It's losing people's self-respect.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. They're destroying people's self-respect. And it's funny you should say about that Apple thing. About 5 years ago, before the lockdown and that, there's I got a gift token for this shop, which is like a double-barreled name, something and something else. I won't mention its name.
Yeah.
And this, I don't know whether it was a nationwide thing, because I never shop there, because I call them they're expensive, something and expensive, because they're bloody expensive. And you generally get better quality half the price. But anyway, I had this gift token, so I decided to swan about inside this shop, seeing what was been the gift token on, which was sod all. And I walked into the underwear part, and it's got a sign up, a charity for men's ghoulies. Big C. Then I look round, and everywhere there's like ladies' bras and things, breast cancer.
And
I thought, hang on, what's going on?
Aren't you living in fear?
Well, this is the thing.
I just walked straight out.
Well, think about it. What do they do? So again, bringing it back to manifestation, what are they doing? Then, I mean, the clever bastards, because they're getting us to manifest it ourselves, right? If we identify, oh, well, we might have that, and then, oh, I'm starting to feel symptoms of that. Oh, then I'll go and get tested for that. And we all know what the tests do, because some of them trigger it, and then your biopsies, and then that triggers it as well, et cetera, et cetera. So going back to what you said earlier, are they manifesting against us? Yeah, it's called the media. It's called the media, and it's their most effective weapon against us, and it has been for as long as they've been using it. So in that respect, so all of these, look, what do you put on a billboard? What do you put on the inside of a bus, right? You put an advert on, right? These are adverts. They're selling it to you, right? So all of these, as you're going past, it's like, oh, you might have that. You might have that. No, they're telling you, manifest that, because we want you to have that. Carry on, and so the more you get it lodged into your psyche, your subconscious, the more you're likely to bring it into it. This is exactly what they want, except they're clever now because they've got us to do it ourselves. So they've got some level of plausible deniability. Still doesn't get them off the hook, but you know what I mean. Just something again, Herodotus. He's mentioned here. Can dogs smell the sea? Right? Yeah, they can. I think it's Labradors, Alsatians, and Golden Retrievers. They can apparently smell it on you, right? So if they're telling you to spray yourself, is it just a way of masking that so that the dogs can't pick it up? But again, how many people would know that? I mean, I don't know whether it's common knowledge. So
I knew some dogs could. I wouldn't have said which ones, but I knew some dogs could.
Yeah,
well, I know
it's the older breeds, I think, as far as I'm aware. The big dogs are proper dogs. So, oops.
I know that. in the old days, Avon perfume used to turn dogs on. Seriously. Because they use pheromones. Apparently, the Avon perfume used to turn dogs on because they used some sort of pheromone in it, and it used to turn dogs on. So your auntie would come round, and Rover would have his, shall we say, sexual moment of the week. Because he smelled the pheromones. Yes.
Yeah, I wonder where they got the term dogging from. Then that's
yeah.
Well, that was terrible. Well, as we're going down that, shall I attempt the joke? And I'm going to butcher it. I'm sorry.
Yes, without any safety precautions, shall we do this? Hang on.
I don't know because I'm going to butcher it now. I can feel that well of anxiety. It's like, all right, okay. Fuck's sake. Why did the pervert cross the road?
I don't know.
Because his cock was in the chicken's ass.
Has anybody gone?
I'm sorry. It's not even my joke. I just nicked it. I mean, you're sick of the chickens crossing the road jokes. I just thought that was brilliant. Yeah, so it was just a couple of friends. Things went a bit quiet, and he just popped that one out there. I was just like, where the fuck did that come from? You're still broadcasting. Well, we hope we're still broadcasting, Paul.
Yes, we're still broadcasting.
Yeah, for now.
Remember, if I'm not on next Monday, I'll be on Rumble, all right? So.
Oh, God.
Oh, by the way, last night, Rumble did its usual trick. It booted me out the studio about 5 minutes before I did the show.
Oh, did it? I've gone by that.
Back in again, though.
Yeah, I got back in again, but it wouldn't mute my microphone, so I had to jump out of it and then manually go back in again, But I'm gonna learn OCR software or something? I don't know. Use that, but it looks bloody complicated. But I like that joke. That's a classic.
Yeah, I'm getting told off now. Hey, Stig, you're not YouTube, mate. I'm going to take that with a little pinch of salt. But my language is terrible. I've been swearing since I was 12 just to piss my mother off, and it's kind of stuck on me. I really, really should kind of calm it down a bit, but it gets a bit.
You'd never piss my mother off. She'd always have the last word. Oh. But
yes, sorry if that's offended any chicken lovers out there, and.
Yes. But really, the government are manifesting something with us. And have you seen that? Ever seen that funeral? I think it was with the wife of a president. What president was it now? Not sure if it was Bush. She died, and they're all doing this particular sign. And it looked very Masonic. There was something really weird about it. I can't remember. If Patrick's watching, he would know. But I think he's busy today. Yes, but
have you seen just for if I mean you can do this if you go into your favorite pound shop. The amount of Masonic symbolism on just especially like drug products and chocolate bars and stuff like that. It's everywhere. Certain like hand soaps they've got. It's very, very Masonic, and again, take of that what you will. But I could show you an example, but I'd probably I'd get you kicked off for a copyright breach, inappropriate language, swearing, sexual. I'd be done. You'd be done for, Chris. I'm just not going to get the.
I know what you mean, and there's also a certain star that's named after a person that is shown a lot as well, here, there, and everywhere. And have you noticed these controlled opposition media? News services that they stick out like a bloody sore thumb. One wanted to be my friend on Facebook, and they're starting it now on Telegram, where you look at it and you think, and it entices you in, and it might be about some. But there's a certain way they do it where you can tell it's controlled opposition. It's clever. It's very clever, and it'll tie some people in.
Yeah, I think to be honest, we've been bombarded by all kinds of stuff. I mean, I'm getting spam text messages. But since when that is when why is that a thing all of a sudden? Spam text messages.
Yeah.
Trying to scam me through a text message, a group text message. What the hell's a group text message? I didn't even know we could do such a thing.
Have we ever had the one job offering? Hi, we got a job just for you. And
yes.
And
we've looked at your CV. I'm like, well, you'll have a job. I never sent you a CV.
Precisely.
It hasn't been upgraded for a long time, so
yeah.
And I usually, if I've got a bit of time, I usually just say, "How's Nigeria these days with the fiddling business?"
Yeah.
But they're not put off by it. They're still. People must be bloody stupid to fall for that. It really
I know, but you see these programs on little old ladies that have been scammed and they know the target audience, they know who's vulnerable, and they're just pigs.
Well, that's it. Mark Andrews come out with a good one. He said you see a lot of Masonic symbolism on children's TV programs. Programs being the right word.
The right word.
Yes.
Yep.
That is an interesting one. Paul said the ice cream brand that rhymes with balls is a...
Yes, it is.
Oh yes, is a PVO symbol.
I've heard this actually. It's actually that's actually very dark when you look into that particular meaning.
Is.
So
that's interesting. Doing the 666 devil horns. I mean, I won't do it on, but one eye, all link to who they worship. Yes, I see. There's that horn, devil horn thing they do with their hand. I won't do it on screen. You see a lot of them doing that, especially the Beatles. They did that quite a bit as well. And who's that bloke who can't play the guitar and can't play the harmonica? It's things like this. Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan. Right.
Yes.
That could have been anybody.
I was going to say, could have been any number of people, that one. But...
Yes, it always sounds as if he's singing and then someone's just shoving a cucumber up his arse, doesn't he? And I got a cucumber up my ears. You know, that's
Tune in for your entertainment. Chris will sing to you.
Yes. Oh, yes. My mother once said I've got a voice like a foghorn. Well, I think a foghorn's slightly better than my voice, actually.
I'm saying now we've gone into the minus figures now for the thumbs up, and it's like about 200 thumbs down. We haven't even got that many viewers at the minute.
Actually, I'm thinking about the good things. I think we're going to have to generate the good things ourselves.
Yes.
Don't you mean manifest them?
That's a good one.
There you go.
You see, now Paul English, he's actually starting, I don't know whether he wants me to mention this to the audience there, but he's starting something interesting to do with broadcasting.
Is he?
He hasn't told me, I'll tell you off air, but he hasn't told me whether I can actually announce it or not. So I don't do things without, permission.
There's a red-headed royal that does that a lot.
Yes, Napoleon did it a lot, didn't he?
Yeah, but didn't.
Stalin, Lenin, they're all. It's basically the hidden hand, isn't it? That's what they're saying. It's the hidden hand.
Yeah.
And Harry Corbett with Sooty.
I think that was slightly different, Chris, but yeah.
Yes. What's that?
We'll get where you're coming from.
Sooty the dude. Sorry. Did you know that the box that you put Sooty into had air holes punched into it? Seriously.
Oh, yeah. I don't know that because he's from round here.
That's an Ed the Duck, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, God.
I actually think Sooty would make a bloody good Prime Minister. You think about it. He doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
And it's all secret.
Nods all the time.
Well, you're going to cut off the old age pensioners? You're going to halve the old age pensioners' pension? Okay, so you're going to invade Russia, are you? Oh, yeah. But
I think most puppets are better politicians.
No, I think we should get Zippy. From Rainbow, we should get Zippy because then at least when he starts talking to bollocks that our current roster's coming out with, we can just zip him up and shut him up.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. There you go. And I think he's more entertaining as well.
Yeah.
But do you think our dear and gracious leader, Queer Stammer, or Stalin, do you think he's possessed? I mean, he's definitely soulless. He hasn't got a soul. There's no soul there. There's nothing.
I wouldn't say he's possessed. I'd say he's soulless.
I think he definitely ticks the Machiavellian box. And I also think that he's loyal to the people paying his paycheck, which are the real masters that we're not supposed to know about largely.
Yeah.
So I think to be fair to the guy, he's doing a very good job for what he's been put in there to do, but it's not working for us. So there you go.
Well, I'm trying to write a Churchill speech for the 80th anniversary, the end of World War II. And it's bloody difficult because someone said, well, use AI, because I can't do Churchill very well. But I thought, well, it might be more funny if I try and take his voice off and then do it bad. And I'm starting off, we'll bullshit them on the beaches, we'll bullshit them on the land, we'll continue to bullshit, and they'll never discover that I was paid by the City of London.
That just sounds like you, Chris.
It does sound like me, yeah. It's not very good, is it? Well, perhaps I'll put a couple of golf balls in my mouth or something.
Yeah.
But
Cotton wool balls.
That might be worth, you get the views back after tonight's interesting.
Yes. And did you know
screw-ups.
he was the most paid off politician? Seriously. He was the amount of backhanders, yeah.
Been going on for years, and anybody that goes against the grain suddenly disappears.
It's funny though, isn't it? It's almost like I can't say that now. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, we've come.
There you go.
This is the fastest 2 hours, and it's great.
He says that every week, and it's like you say it's the fastest. It's time's fast. It's speeding up, mate.
Well, so this is the slowest 2 hours. Look up in.
There you go. That's better.
That's it. Yeah.
It's been a bloody snooze fest. I can't wait to get on. Oh wait, I am on.
At least we don't have to travel.
We've attempted.
Well, you mean wait for the buses that don't turn up? Because
yeah, that's the one, the electric one.
That's right. Now Nathan has attempted the chicken joke without any safety precautions at all. So
yeah, whoops. Just put a disclaimer on. Just says contains really, really disgusting filth, and hope that the censors are okay with. I figured at the end of the video you might be all right with it, and
And not all perverts rate chickens. Some of them. Sorry.
Yeah,
not guilty for that one.
I mean, I might have a pervert sort of put some bad things down in the chat, or in the comments section afterwards, or complain to YouTube. So I say I'm a pervert and I don't shag chickens.
That's quite true.
Yes. Yeah.
How do you know?
Could be lying.
That's it.
Anyway,
I'm
shutting up now.
Now, is there anything we've got? Deb, you haven't had a choice of sticking two fingers up at a politician, have you?
Yeah, because I couldn't think of anybody.
You couldn't even think of that. What was Woman Reeves? I couldn't even think of that.
Oh, right. She's from up here, so
yeah. So Rachel Reeves. Useless. There we go.
Yes.
Now we've got something
different. All farts in a jar.
Yeah.
Yes, get your farts in a jar today. Now, we'll try and think of some good news for next week. I'm just trying to think of it. Top 10 good news. No, can't think of it.
No.
Bloody hell.
Falling short there.
Tried. There are positives out there. I'll give you one straight away.
Yeah.
Right. So the whole effectiveness, the battle effectiveness that Steve James talks about. Which is basically if you want to find out if your enemy's being affected, have a look and see what kind of impact it's having. If it's having no impact, it's not effective. All right. Well, the one thing that they're doing in overdrive is censorship, which tells you what it means that. Right. Well, it is desperation, but the reason they need to censor us is because the information is getting out there fast and clear, and people are taking that. And it is spreading, right? So they need to curb that and stop it, which is okay, it's a bad thing. The censorship's never a good thing. I hate it personally. I think it's one of the most, I think it's the worst sign, actually, of things to come, because as soon as they start shutting you up. However, they wouldn't feel the need to do that if it wasn't effective. And I think, so there you go. You can add that for your next week's top 10. How about that?
That's a good one. Another one is Keir Starmer is probably a blessing in disguise.
I think so.
Because he's pissing people off big time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And he's hitting at the middle class. And when you hit at the middle class,
right.
Whoa, watch this space, boys and girls.
Hey, you might get a revolution after all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might.
You might do. A peaceful one, of course. We've got to say that. Because
actually,
the boys in blue on the door.
Well, it'll have to be peaceful, because if it's not, then you're playing straight into their hands. And I know a lot of people will say, no, it has to get violent. No, it doesn't. Because as soon as it goes violent, they've won. No, it has to be peaceful. It has to remain peaceful, because they've still got all the the trump cards, if you like to call it that. So as soon as it gets, this is what they put agent provocateurs into crowds for, because they know that largely protests are going to be peaceful until it's not, and then that gives them every excuse to bring in crackdowns and martial law and all the rest of it, and then put people in camps and prisons and all of that horrible shit. No, it has to remain peaceful. And also, Chris, one of the things that you keep saying is to keep laughing at them.
Yes.
I agree with that. So,
was it load a joke up the breech, boom, fire a joke, fire a gag.
We'll let you do that.
Anybody?
Well,
but let's face it. You imagine, and I keep saying this, why can't we whistle Laurel and Hardy tune when Starmer appears? Don't take the piss out of him. Laugh our bloody heads off at him. It's funny. Why not?
Exactly.
Well, you have to, because then people will associate him with a joker or a bad joke. And so, oh, God, I'm getting arrested tomorrow, aren't I? Fuck's sake. Oh, well, it's nice knowing you.
Well, I don't know. I'll be in the cell next door probably. So, we can have a chin wag, And, hey, Deb, you there? Yeah, I'm there. Yeah, I'm there. Now, hang on, I got the wrong one here. Here we go. Sorry, Deb, I cut you off. Was it? Thank you for joining us tonight. Take care, all. Was it? That's one of the reasons I love using buses. Oh yeah, and trains, because they're a great way to talk to people about what is going on in the world.
There's people on buses won't bloody talk to you anyway.
No, they're all listening to bloody phone and causing everyone else to be angry and stuff.
What about when you're frozen up your arse staying at a bus stop for hours on end and the bleeding thing doesn't come along?
Can't say that here because ours are really good, to be fair.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Crap, where I live.
Every 10 minutes, they're every 10 minutes.
Bloody hell. Wait.
10 minutes?
What is it, Mars? Where do you live in Mars?
Leeds.
Oh, hang on, Mars. I'm not allowed to say that because apparently space is, what is it, lame and gay? I don't know, some shit like that. That's not me saying. That's not me saying that. Apparently.
Hang on, how can space be gay?
I don't know. A lot of people are saying it doesn't exist full stop. So, I mean, take your pick.
Yeah.
But, no, I mean, where I live, one bus is 1 hour. So if you miss that, you've had it. And the other bus is supposed to be about every 20 minutes. But in reality, it's about 3/4 of an hour. And then you get two come along together, And it's in the sticks. That's the reason why.
Yeah.
So, that, but, I mean, are you quite close to the centre of Leeds? Maybe that might be the reason.
I'm only, 4 miles? 3-4 miles out.
But
he's right there, by the way.
Yeah.
Most people have got their faces stuck in smartphones on buses and trains these days. But why does buses smell like public urinals? I mean, you got buses where I live.
Depends where you live, I suppose.
Yeah, it smells of stale farts or public urinal on buses, depending on who's on there.
I don't catch them very often, but I wouldn't get on one at all if they stunk like that.
I've got to be honest. I don't. I mean, the ones around here, they don't smell that bad. It's just the Muppets that get on them. I don't. It's not fun to get on them. I hate them. Yeah. The only one that's pleasurable to get on is the one that goes from here to Scarborough.
Ah, yeah.
That's the only one that I will happily get on and enjoy the journey. It's 2 hours. Yeah, but even then, you still get the morons coming on the weekends. Yeah. So then, as soon as you get on, all the top of it, and they're drinking, and well, take your pick. I mean, I've seen some.
Maybe it's just you, Chris. Well, plus it's my smutty gags I don't like. Do you hear that one about the?
Especially if you fling yourself onto a seat next to somebody and just blurt it out.
But I love cars. I like cycling as well. I mean, isn't it lovely? They've invented a car that you get in and you can drive somewhere at the time you want, when you want, and they want everybody to go by bloody public transport.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, cars are beautiful. I love cars. I think we should have more of them. But the way I look on it, why not have small single-seat battery cars for local journeys, or double-seat, and petrol and diesel cars for longer journeys? Full stop, end of.
That's it. That C5 back, don't you?
Well, not like that, but you know what I mean. The sort of the nice.
As long as it's not C4, we're all right.
Yeah.
You don't want them blowing up.
But Nathan, you know, something where like we wouldn't need a driving license to drive it. You know, small ones, you do about 20 miles an hour. Just nip down the shops. Be perfect.
Walking up the roads.
Yes.
Well, yeah, bubble cars. They float.
It's like the Jasper Carrot sketch. This is about Henry, the nutter on the bus. Yes, I've got a nuclear bomb in my case.
And remember, folks, if there is no nutters on the bus, you're the nutter.
Exactly, yeah.
Perhaps I'm the nutter. Yeah. And on that point, we're going to hang on. We're going to promote your book, aren't we, Deb? Book and
books.
And books, yes. And what else is it? Oh, yes, your show.
Only available on Amazon and my books by me. Life is Strange and Life is Stranger. Only because they're so short that they didn't warrant printing out. And my YouTube channel is My Name in the Chat. And I've got part 2 of a Mysterious Disappearances in the UK coming up in the next couple of months. I'm not doing them every week because it got too much.
Yeah, you know, Deb, there is going to be somebody that goes searching for my name in the chat on YouTube now. It's inevitable. Somebody will now go looking for my name in the chat.
My name in the chat. Yes, it's Deborah Singleton, AKB, which is my name highlighted in the chat. Well noticed there, Nathan.
Yeah.
Well, not really. I'm just being a facetious.
I know, but I'm trying to.
I don't mean it. I don't mean it.
Yeah, you're going to have to do the outro, Deb, because I don't know where you put it.
I've got it all lined up.
You got it all lined up?
It's all lined up.
Anything? So, what would you like to say to the audience? Nothing rude, please. So, Nathan, Deb, Nathan, same time next week.
Yes,
have a nice week. And if we're not banned, it'll be the same time next week. And if we are banned, you go out to Rumble. It's all right. Don't worry. And
unless you're French.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's your French. That's it. But we don't really worry about them because they eat smelly food and don't really want them on their channel anyway. So not much loss, is it? You know. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us this evening. And whatever happens, have a bloody good laugh and good night.
Good night, all.
Night.